So hello everybody and welcome back to another production review of Substance this time, and I really want to show you how Substance might be helpful for your productions, but also major issues. And as you know, fattybull.com, I'm known for really looking under the hood and looking under product features and support and how you can use a specific plugin, a library, or a specific tool or software package on a daily basis in your daily production. So in this particular case, like always, you can download that scene file and you can test everything by yourself. But here we go. Here's my brutal and honest review about using Substance source inside of Unreal. So here we go. First of all, the first issue I'm having is, so look at this. I'm launching Substance source, and for instance here, Substance source is not loading. And I remember, for instance, when you rely on a third-party plugin like Substance, for instance, and you would like to use it in your production pipeline, then this stuff has to work seamless. And as you can see, when you're working on deadlines and you cannot access Substance source through the plugin in UE4 in the Unreal Engine, then you have a major problem, because for all of a sudden you can't access your library anymore. And if you need it because you want to add additional materials, then you have a huge major problem. I also wanted to point out that this issue was posted in the forum, not by myself, but by other people. And when you go to the Substance forum, you will find it in the Unreal topic. And people basically noticed, was it 2 weeks ago or something like this, that it's just not working, okay? Here we go, plugin stuck in Substance source loading screen, as you can see. And this is what's happening, for instance. And I don't know, this was now 2 weeks ago, something like this. And there is still no solution for that. So there is some response here, as you can see, from the Substance team, and they apologize, which is all fine. And I'm pretty sure that everybody who works at the team, like Wes here, is a pretty nice guy. That's all fine. You know, there is nothing to say. But at the end, what really matters is that you need that service up and running. And if I'm working on a deadline and I'm stuck for 2 or 3 weeks and the plugin isn't launching, if I need it, that's kind of a problem. So of course there's a workaround, and that has been also posted, that you can go to Substance source and then you pick your material and you download that specific material, right? And let's get started, and I want to show you how that stuff looks like. So first of all, if this thing is not loading, which is a shame because it should really be fixed, immediately, or it shouldn't even happen, then you can download here all those materials, and you can see owned or whatever, and then you download that specific file. It's called an SBSAR file. And then what you have to do is you have to go inside. So I close this here, right? So you can see it's not loading. They have issues and their problem is not resolved. But then once it's downloaded, you basically go to your browser, and then what you have to do is you have to drag and drop it into your material folder, wherever that is, right? So you take this, drag and drop it, and then you have to click import that specific material. So as you can see, I checked the filter material, and now I can see what I have been downloading. There is a sphere, for instance. You can use spheres and assign materials as you go, and assign it also maybe on the floor and see how it looks like, right? And you can test multiple materials. It really doesn't matter what you download, etc. So my first thing I noticed, look, for instance, I was downloading gravel or like concrete and all this kind of stuff. You see it here very clearly. The tiling is a problem. So for me, a big disappointment was actually, or is, the fact that if I'm paying for a service that I would like to use all those proposed materials they have in the library, then I don't want to create any additional nodes anymore, because that's the luxury, right? I pay the money for it so that I can use different materials with a drag and drop feature and drag and drop option. And what I also want to show you is it's a huge bummer. That is a huge mistake that this wasn't added is when you open the nodes, then you can clearly see that you have no control in terms of the tiling or in terms, let's keep it this way, say in terms of the scaling. So if you would like to scale that pattern, right, whatever that is, you have to go in and create now for every single material you are downloading an extra node. And in this particular case, you need to create a texture coordinate, right? And once you did that, then you have to go in and connect every single UV to that particular node, right? And as you can see, you have to do it over and over again for every single material because they forgot it. They forgot about that. I mean, you know, in my opinion, this is really bad because as a production artist and paying so much money for that library, this is time is money, right? That's very annoying because now I have to go in and I have to create for every single material that specific node. So that's a huge bummer. So once this is created, as you can see here on the fly, I can go in and then let's say I scale this up and make it 0.5, 0.5. And of course you would be able to create then an instance from that. There is no question about it. But so as you can see here, then you can create a material instance. But as you can see, it is obviously a little nerve-wracking because those are two issues I basically really don't like. First of all, using them blend materials or not even having, in this particular case, through the source material, then somehow the option that I can do this and I need to use all the other software packages. No, that is not cool. So in this particular case as well, I would say, you know, of course, if I'm downloading concrete, cracked asphalt or whatever, that's usually for a large, big scale element, right? A road is huge, a parking element is huge. So why is it not possible to make sure that you have a procedural material that is already has all the mixtures set up that you don't see any tiling, right? So this is what I don't understand, because at the end, I cannot use that material at all. I cannot use it because it just, you know, it's not usable immediately in the production, and I have to go in and tweak everything manually. And then I ask myself, okay, if I have to tweak that shader network manually again, why do you even need it? Because I can do this in 3ds Max, V-Ray with blends and whatever, and many other software packages, and start creating a shader from scratch by myself. But why do I have to pay then the money for the library and the service? So this is my big question mark here, which I honestly do not like. That's a huge bummer. So we reviewed now, first of all, the plugin loading and the support. I have to say the support, they're responding from Monday till Friday. Weekends, forget about it. So they shut down and you cannot reach anybody on the weekends. This was my personal experience now since June, whenever I called out some major issues. So what is next? One of the biggest mess, I mean, this is the real big bummer, is actually that when you are going to pay for a material library, they are promoting in their library itself, and for instance, look here at the roof with the tiling and many other features. You see it, everything is flat. Okay, so when you go now to the original material, and what is this one called? Rounded slate tiles. And let's type this in here, rounded slate tiles. So when you put this in, then you see a material preview in which you can definitely see this is not just normal mapping or bump maps in the PBR-based shader. It is definitely displacement. For instance, take this one, the lumber, right, tiles. It's very clearly to see. It looks great in their preview. But when you would like to achieve now the same result with the displacement, it's just not there. And I'll show you. So basically, when you download this, I click on download, and then now I have to go this way then inclined lumber, whatever, you have to go from the website browser and drag and drop it from your download and drag and drop it into Unreal, which is also, it makes it very, it makes it a little frustrating to work with, first of all. So, and once you have it, and I see now here where is it even? Where did it go? Here we go. Here we go. Oh yeah, and by the way, again, you have to start like with this tiling, right? With the scale, you have to add this. Then you have to save, of course, in Unreal everything that it's really inside of your project, okay? But as you can see, if I would like to assign this to a wall, and let's say I do this right here, right now, and I drag and drop it on this wall, then you might see maybe I want to change that scaling, right? I want to change the size of these patterns. And first of all, you can see they are completely flat. There is no displacement at all. It's completely gone. But again, if I want to change now the tiling, or let's say not the tiling, the scaling of that, I need to go in again, and I need to say like texture coordinate, and I have to create that and drag and drop it and drag and drop it to every single node, as you can see here, and you can see here, and drag and drop it, boo, yeehaw, done. And now I can change it. But as you can see, if you are going to download, let's say 100 different materials for your library, and you have to do it 100 times, even with copy and paste, you have to connect the nodes, it's a huge bummer. I mean, honestly, I don't know what you guys have been thinking about this when you guys released it like that, but for the production, this is, whoa, F. This is a straight F actually for the user experience. The user experience is really, really bad. So now we have figured out those issues, and I called it out very clearly. And last but not least, now look at this. There is no displacement anywhere you go, and you cannot see any displacement nodes, the shaders and the networks. So the nodes are not set up for that. So you would need to go in and you would need to recreate for every single material the displacement option. And as we all know, that is very complex. That is something you cannot, do very fast and very quick. And as I said, that's a huge bummer for me because, if I compare this now and I say I created this texture map in any other software package, and I create a shader, PBR shader, and it doesn't matter if it's V-Ray you're going to use and from 3ds Max, and you use Datasmith and you export it, you get it translated. For instance, I'm faster by creating my own material and shader through Max and V-Ray and then export it by using Datasmith plugin, and I'll show you this later in the review that as well. Then actually paying this super pricey, in my opinion, for small studio owners, for artists. If you work as a freelancer, if you would like to work on architecture projects, you need at least, 200, 300 different materials when working on projects, because you want to go fast, you want to be quick, right? If a client says, I don't like that specific concrete, I want to exchange it, I want to have it brighter, darker, whatever, you would need to go in and you need to make all those changes relatively quick. But as you can see, also all those materials, I had to assign the texture coordinates and, had to go in and have to do everything manually again. And it's all flat because displacement is not supported. So that is huge. So last but not least, what I also wanted to review in terms of all those materials is actually also very, very dissatisfying, in my opinion, is imagine now you own and you paid for all those shaders, like, 500 different materials, okay? Now, of course, you can sort and filter by categories and so on. But what is very, very bad, in my opinion, is you cannot download your entire assets and package in one shot. Yes, that is right. You heard it clearly. You cannot download all your packages or like all your materials you purchased in one shot. And that is a huge bummer, because for every single project I start, I need to go into my account, I need to log in, I need to be online, otherwise it just doesn't even work, right? But I have to have this, and I need to download every time for every project. I'm going to start every single individual material, and then I have to start over again, and I have to do the scaling, and of course I also have the missing displacement maps. So this is something I called out, and I wanted to mention that you should know before you go into this production, because of course you see very nice promotional videos, how great Substance is, or Substance Source, and also how you can use it for Unreal. And I have to say, yes, I love it. I mean, I love the idea, I love the library. I think it's fantastic, the idea behind. But in terms of the daily productions and the user interface, the user experience, and what I learned now working with Substance, this is actually kind of killing me in the final stage. Because if I have so many troubles, like I can't load it directly, and I, for instance, was working on a project, and we had a deadline and I couldn't access it, and then you need to wait until you find a workaround, you get a response. It's just like killing you, it's just like killing you. So, and in this particular case, as you can see, downloading all those materials individually, and I think this was now, I don't know, like 20 materials, it takes a while, and that you cannot do it in one shot to have all the materials and shader networks like it should be in your project. That is really, really a big bummer. So sorry, dear Substance team. I think this is now owned by Adobe. I'm really sorry about my honest opinion, but I hope that, and my honest review, but I hope that you take also my review and this critique seriously, that you will get more people using your plugin and your tool. As I said, I think the idea is fantastic. I also believe that if those major problems I called out should be fixed in future, my rating and my review is going to change dramatically. But at this point, it's kind of like a huge deal that I'm paying for a library, and that library is dysfunctional and it's not very user-friendly, and I don't get the final results that are actually promoted. And finally, last but not least, I almost forgot about that, is also when you look at those different materials, I want to mention that as well, and you click on it, you see that there are actually also different presets. And also that was already called out before, because you have no options and features to actually gain access to those presets when using Substance in Unreal. And that's the last bummer I have to call out. I have to say so. I almost forgot about it. So that means if you download that specific material here, then you have this set, it's preset number 2, because that was the standard preset, but you cannot find, I was not able to find the preset assets directly, like in here in Unreal, using it or downloading those materials directly. Yes, there is a way using an additional Substance tool to access those presets, and then you can export the texture maps and so on. But as I said, it's a bummer, because then you always have to do extra steps and you have to do the work by yourself, instead of just like taking this material, downloading it to your project and assigning it like it should be. So thank you very much for watching. I hope that I was able to give you a production overview using Unreal and Substance Source. I hope you like it, and please let me know if you have any questions or any concerns, and subscribe to my channel, of course, and stay up to date with the latest technology, the latest plugins, software reviews and hardware reviews to see, to benefit from it and see like what should you actually think about it before you want to buy something like this or before you want to use it in your production pipeline. That being said, thanks for watching and talk to you later. See you in my next video. Take care and happy pixeling. Bye bye.